Before we jump into the signs, let's talk about what social media addiction actually is. It's not just spending a lot of time on Instagram or TikTok. Social media addiction is a behavioral addiction where you feel a compulsive need to use social media platforms, often to the detriment of other areas of your life. It's like that feeling when you can't stop reaching for your phone, even when you're hanging out with friends or trying to get work done. Now, you might be wondering why social media can be so addictive. Well, it all comes down to a little thing called dopamine. Every time you get a like, a comment, or discover an exciting post, your brain releases a bit of dopamine, that feel-good chemical that makes you want more. It's like a little reward system in your brain, and social media platforms are designed to keep that dopamine flowing. All right, let's get into the meat of it. Here are some key signs that you might be developing a social media addiction. Remember, it's not about checking off every single box, but if you find yourself nodding along to several of these, it might be time to take a closer look at your social media habits. Sign number 1. You know that feeling when you pick up your phone to check the time and suddenly an hour has passed and you're somehow scrolling through your ex's cousin's best friend's vacation photos from 2018? That's what we call mindless scrolling. It's like your thumb has its own agenda, pulling you into an endless loop of posts, reels, and updates before you even realize what's happened. Social media is designed to be addictive, with algorithms that serve up content tailored to keep you engaged. And let's be honest, it works. But the next thing you know, you've lost precious time you could have spent doing something more meaningful or productive. It's a sneaky habit that leaves you feeling drained instead of refreshed, even though it starts with the innocent intention of just checking. We've all been there, and the good news is, you're not alone, and you can take back control of your time. Sign number 2. FOMO, or fear of missing out, is a real thing. And let's face it, most of us have felt it at some point. You know the drill. You're constantly checking your feeds, refreshing every few minutes, just in case you miss something important. It's like social media has turned into your personal 24/7 news ticker, and the thought of not being in the loop makes you feel anxious or left out. Maybe it's a party you weren't invited to, an inside joke you missed, or even just a cool vacation someone else is taking. FOMO convinces you that if you're not online, you're somehow falling behind socially, missing out on all the fun, or not keeping up with the latest trends. But here's the thing, social media doesn't show the whole story. It's a highlight reel, not real life. Chasing every update can leave you feeling more stressed than satisfied. Recognizing FOMO for what it is can be the first step to breaking free from the constant need to stay connected and finding balance in your relationship with social media. Sign number 3. Be honest. When you wake up in the morning, is checking social media the first thing you do? And at night, right before bed, are you scrolling through your feed one last time? If the answer is yes, you're not alone, but it might be time to reassess your relationship with these platforms. Starting and ending your day with social media can create a cycle where your thoughts, mood, and energy are heavily influenced by what you see online. Instead of waking up feeling refreshed or winding down peacefully, you might find yourself immediately bombarded with news updates, comparison traps, or endless notifications. It's easy to fall into the habit of letting social media dictate the tone of your day, but this can take a toll on your mental health and overall well-being. Imagine replacing those first and last moments of the day with something more intentional, like a calming morning routine, journaling, or simply taking a moment to reflect on your goals. It's not about quitting social media altogether, but about making sure it complements your life instead of controlling it. Small changes can make a big difference in how you start and end your day. Sign number 4. Ever felt your phone vibrate in your pocket only to pull it out and realize nothing happened? No message, no notification, just silence. That's what we call phantom phone syndrome, and it's a clear sign that your brain has become wired to anticipate notifications. It's almost like your phone has fused with your body and you're constantly on high alert, waiting for the next ping, buzz, or vibration. This happens because our brains are now so accustomed to the instant gratification of notifications that we start imagining them, even when they're not there. It's a little unsettling, isn't it? This constant state of anticipation keeps us distracted and makes it harder to be fully present in the moment, whether we're working, spending time with loved ones, or just trying to relax. It's a reminder of how much our devices can hijack our attention and why it's important to set boundaries. Taking breaks from your phone and practicing mindfulness can help you regain control, so you're no longer living on edge, waiting for the next imaginary buzz. Sign number 5. Here's a big one. Do you find yourself opting to communicate with friends and family through social media rather than having face-to-face conversations? Be honest. Are you sliding into your best friend's DMs instead of meeting up for coffee or sharing your thoughts and updates in a post rather than during a real conversation? If so, it could be a sign that social media is starting to take over your social life. While platforms like Instagram and Facebook make staying connected easier than ever, they can also create a false sense of intimacy. Sure, it's convenient to chat through messages or comment on someone's post, but those interactions often lack the depth and connection of in-person communication. Over time, you might find yourself feeling more isolated or even losing touch with the joy of face-to-face interactions. Real-life conversations allow for meaningful exchanges, tone of voice, body language, and shared experiences that no emoji or GIF can replicate. If you notice yourself defaulting to online communication, it might be worth asking, when was the last time I truly spent quality time with someone I care about? Taking small steps, like scheduling a coffee date or calling instead of texting, can help you strike a healthier balance and keep your relationships grounded in the real world. Sign number 6. Social media can feel like an emotional roller coaster, can't it? One moment, you're riding high because your latest post is racking up likes and positive comments, and the next, you're feeling low because the response wasn't what you expected. If you've noticed your mood swinging based on the number of likes, shares, or comments you get, that might be a sign of social media addiction. It's as if your self-esteem has become tied to your online performance, and let's be honest, that's not a healthy place to be. The problem is that social media is designed to trigger these emotional highs and lows. Every like or comment releases a little hit of dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical, which keeps you coming back for more. But when the engagement isn't what you hoped, it can leave you feeling rejected, even though it's just an algorithm-driven platform and not a true measure of your worth. The key is to remind yourself that your value doesn't depend on digital validation. You're so much more than the number of likes on a post. Taking breaks from social media, focusing on offline relationships, and setting boundaries around your usage can help you reclaim your self-esteem and find joy that isn't tied to the virtual world. Sign number 7. Be honest with yourself. Has your social media use started to creep into areas of your life where it doesn't belong? Maybe you've caught yourself scrolling through Instagram or TikTok instead of finishing that report for work, studying for an exam, or even tackling a personal project you've been putting off. It's easy to tell yourself, I'll just check for a minute, but before you know it, that minute has turned into 30 or more. If this sounds familiar, it might be time to take a step back and reevaluate your priorities. Social media is designed to grab your attention and keep it, which can make it all too tempting to choose swiping over focusing on tasks that require effort and discipline. The problem is, the more you give in to that urge, the more it can snowball, leading to missed deadlines, lower productivity, and unnecessary stress. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward making a change. Consider setting specific time limits for your social media use, or turning off notifications during times when you need to focus. By taking control of your habits, you'll not only get back on track with your responsibilities, but also feel a greater sense of accomplishment and balance in your day. Sign number 8. Remember that guitar you used to love playing, the one you couldn't put down? Or that painting set sitting in the corner, quietly gathering dust? If you've noticed that hobbies or activities you once enjoyed have taken a back seat because social media has consumed your free time, that's a definite red flag. It's easy to get sucked into endless scrolling, thinking it's just a quick check-in, only to realize you've spent hours glued to your screen. But here's the thing. Those hobbies you used to love aren't just things to do. They're a source of joy, creativity, and relaxation. They're what make you feel alive and connected to yourself. When social media starts stealing that time, it's not just taking your attention, it's taking away opportunities for personal growth and fulfillment. So, dust off that guitar, pick up that paintbrush, or dive back into whatever lights you up. Reclaiming time for your passions can not only help you feel more balanced, but also remind you that there's a world of meaningful experiences waiting for you, one that doesn't require Wi-Fi or likes. Sign number 9. Believe it or not, social media addiction isn't just something that affects your mind, it can show up in your body too. Think about it. How many hours a day do you spend staring at your phone or computer screen? If you've noticed recurring headaches, eye strain, or that nagging neck pain from constantly looking down at your phone, these might be your body's way of saying, "Hey, enough already." This phenomenon is often referred to as tech neck, a strain caused by poor posture when looking down at devices for long periods. Add to that the effects of blue light from screens, which can lead to tired, dry eyes and difficulty sleeping, and it becomes clear how physical these symptoms can get. It's easy to lose track of time when you're scrolling, liking, and swiping, but these physical signs are a red flag that you might be spending too much time on social media. The good news? Small changes can make a big difference. Try the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look away from your screen for 20 seconds and focus on something at least 20 feet away. Pay attention to your posture and take regular breaks to stretch or move around. These little habits can help counteract the toll that excessive screen time takes on your body. Your health deserves just as much care as those perfectly curated social media feeds, and making adjustments can help you feel better both physically and mentally. Sign number 10. This is a big one, folks. If you find yourself feeling anxious, irritable, or even downright depressed when you can't access social media, that's a pretty clear sign of addiction. It's as if your brain has become hooked on the constant stream of information, updates, and interactions that social media provides. Think about it. Every notification, like, or comment releases a tiny burst of dopamine, the feel-good chemical in your brain. Over time, your brain starts craving that hit, just like it would with any other form of addiction. So when you're suddenly cut off, maybe your phone dies, the Wi-Fi goes down, or you're somewhere with no service, you might feel restless or agitated, like you're missing out on something important. These feelings aren't just in your head. They're a sign that social media has become more than a tool. It's become a source of emotional reliance. The good news: you can break the cycle. Start by creating small boundaries, like designated no phone times or turning off non-essential notifications. Gradually, you'll find that stepping away isn't as scary as it seems. Instead of relying on social media for validation or distraction, rediscover offline activities that bring you joy and connection. Your mental well-being will thank you, and you'll regain control over your time and emotions. So there you have it. Remember, social media isn't inherently bad. It can be a great tool for staying connected, sharing ideas, and even learning new things. The key is to use it mindfully and in moderation. At the end of the day, life is happening right here, right now, not on a screen. So let's make sure we're not missing out on the real connections and experiences that make life rich and meaningful. That's all for today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. And hey, maybe share it with a friend who could use a little social media reality check. Until next time.